everyone, and welcome to the Strategic Wealth Strategies podcast with our host, Alan Porter. Alan, what's going on, man? How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. It's another beautiful day here in North Carolina.
And I'm hoping it's decent in Pittsburgh. I won't know where I'm with no window in my finished game room downstairs. But let's kind of go into problems in retirement. And Alan, before we even get to the question, problems in retirement is our topic. It's really becoming a problem because we're seeing so many people telling different scenarios and different stories, right?
Exactly.
And that's just terrible.
Especially the media today. And telling everybody the economy is so great, but it's not that great.
Well, inflation proves it's not, right? And, Alan, I talk to a handful of people and everyone is complaining about the economy. They are complaining about inflation, complaining they don't have enough money in the bank, complaining they don't know if they're going to survive the year. And it's a lot of people.
Neil, over 85% of the people in America are in debt. I mean, they're living paycheck to paycheck, and they're in debt to over $17 trillion.
It's crazy. So, Alan, I saw an article that stated most 60% of Americans have no retirement savings. Is that true?
Yeah, believe it or not, that's true. But the fact that most Americans have less and less discretionary income makes this a catastrophic problem in the future. Now, we can eliminate this issue in several ways, but it takes prior planning. And I sell cash value life insurance. It has the ability to have a dollar do the work of several dollars. It has leverage, and leverage allows you to use the cash value while you're still alive. I do it because I take loans from my insurance, my policy, and I run my business or buy a new car or whatever, and I pay myself back, compounding interest for me and not the financial institutions. But this leverage also uses the tax-free death benefit for your beneficiaries to replenish what was used during while you were living. And here's a great big thing: it provides long-term care for tax-free for pennies on the dollar.
Who could possibly be the biggest beneficiaries of your assets?
Now, Neil, when I tell people about this, they just kind of, whoa, what are you talking about? Well, say you got 2 kids and you have assets, and let's say you got $1 million in assets, and you die suddenly. You don't have any proper wills and trust and things set up. I said, who's going to be the biggest asset or biggest beneficiary of your assets? Well, the government always is, because they're going to get their share, and then whatever's left is split between the two. The government always gets their share first, and if they take that 40%, then your kids may get 30% apiece. But 40% for people with $1 million or more, it's probably more like 55 or 60%.
So that's crazy, for sure.
Well,
I mean,
but here's the big thing too. This problem can be taken care of if you properly plan. You need to have wills and trusts and the right financial vehicles, such as cash value life insurance, when properly structured. You need to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, make one. And Neil, if you do have a plan, review it every year. There's just nothing more you can do, but you've got to review it every year.
So what happens if you die and you never thought that was going to happen? It's a story. People could be just healthy as can be, and the next day, and they didn't have any plan, and then all the money's going. Where does it go if it never had? It was never chosen where it's going to be distributed.
Well, the big problem is if you die early, people aren't prepared for this. And this one lady told me that her aunt is still in the mortuary or wherever they keep the body because there's no money to pay for the funeral. And this is very sad, but this happens all over America.
It really is sad. Alan, what about healthcare costs for seniors?
Oh my goodness! This is just a study that I read yesterday. Studies have shown that married couple age 65 will need approximately $413,000 just to pay for out-of-pocket healthcare expenses. That does not include dental, vision, and hearing. And here's the big one: long-term care. It does not include any for long-term care. People think Medicare is going to take care of them in long-term care. Medicare does not. Medicaid does. And then you have Medicaid spend down for the spouse going to be left basically with nothing. But understand the cost of long-term care right now costs between $50 to $200,000 a year, and it goes up every year.
Alan, is the government coming for your retirement money?
You bet they are. Uh, they're in dire need of revenue. And the government is giving consideration to coming after your 401k just to help Social Security and Medicare achieve sound financial footing. And when I asked people, I said to reconsider tax deferral over because it becomes a relative easy source of revenue for governments at every level. Think about this. You get a tax deduction for a qualified plan when you put that money in, and it grows over time. So I asked people, I said, what do you want to do? Pay taxes on the seed or taxes on the harvest, the largest portion? And of course, the government wants you to pay the taxes on the largest portion, but they're going to tax you at a tax rate that's going to be extremely high. And I mean, people may be in a lower, making less income, but I've told you this before, Neil, a congressional budget office report last fall on a $31 trillion deficit. The people said if taxes are increased by 66% overall by the year 2030, we can't even pay the interest on the debt and the country will default. So what do? They raise taxes. They, inflation, everything. Everything's going wrong for the economy right now, as far as I'm concerned.
Alan, is the government's first step to come after life insurance? That's not good. This question, I'm getting scared we hearing that one.
Well, here's the thing, Neil. Sorry, I have to get some of that out. Here's the thing. I got to read this because I haven't memorized it, but this is kind of scary. Senator Ron Wyden, an Oregon Democrat and chair of the U.S. Senate's Financial Committee, is taking a hard look at ending private placement life insurance. He and the committee are characterizing this as a tax dodge and abused by wealthy Americans. The government desperately needs money, but Neil, it's a social value. Cash value life insurance, any insurance product, it protects society, and it's something that people can't do without. Some people do, but they end up in the end they're going to pay for it one way or the other.
Alan, is medical debt stifling the American people?
Well, medical debt right now, Neil, is over $220 billion. And I think it's 85 or 87% of Americans are in debt of over $1,000. That's amazing. And it just keeps going up and up. And you realize the cost of medical stay in a hospital or something like that. You look at your bill, you get charged $25 for a box of Kleenex. I don't understand how they get by with that. But just like my daughter, when she was diagnosed with breast cancer, now she's cancer free, thank God, for 10 years. But she has Bose-Onnes syndrome, and she had to take this drug. I think it's called Tripeza or something. The first one was like $32,000, and the last one was almost $250,000 deal. And of course, the individuals can't afford this, but the insurance companies will pay part of it. But this is just outrageous.
Alan, what do you think the chance of a recession is?
I think it's very good. In fact, there's many articles I've read that we're going to be in a recession. 85% of these people think we're going to be in a recession. It's 85% chance. And see, there's so many things, Neil, that are misleading about our country, about our economy. They're talking about, inflation's down to 4% now. That doesn't take into account food, fuel, or healthcare costs. Well, what do you think costs most money for everybody? Those three things. Inflation is probably about 17 or 18%. But the thing people don't understand either, they don't understand about the M2 money supply. The M2 money supply right now, Neil, is at recession and depression levels. And what that means, we're a consumption-based society. There's no money to loan these corporations to produce products. That's going to be a big, big problem. And the other thing too is when they say like the stock market's just making big highs every day. Well, that's great, but adjusted for inflation, that's only a gain of 6%. During the previous administration, when they had the high gains in the stock market, that was a gain of 36% when adjusted for inflation. So everything they're telling you, it's just like last night. I don't know if you watched the State of the Union. I turned it off after a while because I couldn't listen to him anymore. He said border secure, it's the Republicans' fault. to get all this. They're not signing off on any bills. Well, he has the power to take control of all this and stop it, but he don't. But I don't want to get off on a political tangent, but we know you know as well as I do what's wrong.
All right. People could call you at 910-551-1046 or email you at strategicwealth, the number 0@gmail.com. And people comment in the live feed if you want to contact Alan today. If you want a debt-free retirement, do you want to have cash, income for life? Go with Alan. He's going to steer you in the right direction. Appreciate it, Alan. And thanks for stopping by.
No, here's something else though. People, this is an education, what I offer. I'm not going to charge you a fee for consultation. I want to educate people on the financial strategies that are out there that's way beyond the scope of conventional financial planning. What I do is I reduce and possibly eliminate both debt and taxes. I set you up to become your own bank where you can borrow from yourself and pay yourself back, compound interest for you and not the financial institutions. And I provide you with a retirement that will eliminate or mitigate the risk in retirement that a stock portfolio, a savings account, a bond portfolio, or real estate only compound. That's absolutely huge.
All right, Alan. Great stuff, man. Take care.
All
right. That was the Strategic Wealth Strategies podcast, guys. Take care.